how to not be a sleaze. Let's just say you want to get into learning cold approach, like what I teach, but you don't want to be a sleaze bag. You're not after one night stands. You don't want to be mean to women. You want to be a good boy. Let's discuss that. Let's discuss why that whole idea is totally faulty. I want to explain that in a little bit more detail. A lot of guys, they just think, oh, learning cold approach or learning to get a girlfriend is sleazy because you're just looking to get one night stands. Now, that is almost the same as saying that you don't want to be a billionaire right now because you're just not ready. You're just not ready to become a billionaire. You're also worried that you might sleep with a girl have a one night stand with a girl, and she might become infatuated with you somehow miraculously, like accidentally becoming a billionaire, and you're worried that you might get trapped into a long-term relationship early for some weird delusional reason that you think that you're so awesome that every girl that you're going to sleep with or date moving forward is going to want a long-term relationship with you, and she's going to want to stay around and hang around with you. This is a delusion. The vast majority of men out there that say that pickup is sleazy, they're living in a delusional world that doesn't actually exist. They think that the moment they meet a girl and they take her out on a few dates, 100% of all of those girls, especially the girls that they might end up sleeping with, are going to want to come back in their delusional minds. These guys actually think that, but the reality is totally different, and the probability of you sleeping with the first girl that you meet after a few dates and then her becoming totally infatuated with you and wanting a long-term relationship, the probability of that is really low in first world countries. The idea that guys that get into pickup and do a lot of cold approach, they get a lot of one night stands and they're just discarding all of these women, is a fallacy that you might be kind of brainwashed into believing is true just because you're following a lot of scammers online that like to overstate their success and pretend that every girl that they meet and date wants a long-term relationship with them, when in fact a lot of these social media influencers, these dating coaches, etc., are in open relationships where the girl doesn't want him long-term, they're just sleeping with other guys. Actually, the world's greatest PUA at the moment is in an open relationship right now because she doesn't want to commit to him solely and hang out with him solely. She wants to sleep with other guys. The same as recently we had a guy on the total opposite spectrum. We had Destiny recently, the leftist guy, who was extremely feminist. He recently had his wife sleeping around with some other dude, and they got a divorce because it was embarrassing for him, etc. He ended up single, losing everything, and she's gone back to Sweden. And so the idea that you're going to get into pickup, or guys that are getting into pickup, meeting a lot of girls, and that there's all the girls that they're sleeping with are going to get into a long-term relationship. They're going to cry if you leave. They're going to miss you. They're going to be sad about you. It is all false. The reality of the situation is totally different. And that's coming from someone that has real world experience, not a lot of the frauds out there, and a lot of the male feminists and their faulty beliefs that aren't backed up with real data. The reality of the situation is the women will be controlling the one night stands more than you. So you're going to cold approach a girl, or you're going to meet her on Tinder, or you're going to meet her at some meetup or social circle event, whatever, and you're going to take her out on a date or whatever, and then you're eventually going to, if you're lucky, sleep with her. And the vast majority of those girls, especially if you are dating girls on your level, are not going to come back. They're going to decide that you are a one-night stand, and they're not going to come back. Now, this flies in the face of all of the propaganda out there that guys that get into pickup are just getting laid all the time, and that they're well, they might be getting laid, but the idea that a lot of the girls are coming back and becoming infatuated with them and falling in love with them, and that these guys that are getting into pickup and dating and cold approach, etc., are discarding women, it's just not true. What is really happening is that the women are busy, they're big boss babes these days, and so they will have a one-night stand with you. Then they'll decide, I don't think I'll call him again. I don't think I'll respond to him. And you end up sending her 5 messages and she doesn't respond to you. Now, on the outside, because a lot of men have terrible egos, what will happen is their friends, other people will ask, what happened to that girl that you picked up the other day? It's like, I didn't want to see her again. But the reality is she just didn't respond. She didn't want to come back. She didn't want to see him again. And she didn't have even the respect to explain why. She didn't even probably even pick up the phone and say, oh, look, it was nice, but I don't think I'll see you anymore. The vast majority of the time, she's not even going to respond and explain why. She's just not going to respond. And so the reality of the dating market in first world countries, that is that the girls are the ones that are committing to the one-night stands, not the men. The women are in fact pushing for the one-night stands, not the men. And so the women are the ones that are sleeping with men and then deciding not to come back, and the majority of men are doing everything that they can to retain the women. And so it's a total delusionary state designed to simultaneously slander men who are trying to improve their dating lives, while women get away with, in fact, committing the vast majority of one-night stands out there in society in the Western world these days. And so for you guys out there that might be thinking, oh, look, I'm single, I'm lonely, I'm looking to get into dating, but I don't want to get into that sleazy one-night stand stuff. The fact of the matter is, you're going to have to go out there and not only cold approach, go to meetup events, go to do hobbies that you like, go and not only cold approach, but maybe online dating as well. And you're going to meet girls, and then you're going to take them out on dates, and some of them won't even come back. They won't even sleep with you. But then out of the percentage that will actually sleep with you, there's no guarantees at that point either. A large percentage of those women are going to ghost you afterwards, because that's the life that they lead. They have all the power in the Western world, and so what they're going to do is they're going to sleep with you. They're not going to come back. You're not even going to hear from them again. And then they're going to go off and live their life as if you're kind of irrelevant, because they do have a lot of the leverage, and I think most men with 2 IQ to rub together are fully aware of that. And so therefore the vast majority of one-night stands are committed by women, because a lot of the one-night stands would not happen if men had their way, because they would want to lock the girl in and see her again. But the women want to be free love and boss babes. I got a full-time job, I'm CEO of some bullshit feminine stuff. And so how it works is that the women are doing that, not the men. And so learning cold approach is in fact far more moral than a lot of the women out there in the dating market these days. You have to get more strategies, more techniques. Cold approach is one of those things. And you're going to date a lot of girls, you're going to sleep with a lot of girls, and a lot of those girls aren't going to come back, and it's not your fault. It's society's fault. We wouldn't have cold approach if society wasn't broken. Society is broken, so therefore you need to compete within an ever increasingly difficult dating market. And that's not your fault. You're not the one out there sleazing on women and breaking hearts. In fact, it is the opposite. They are the ones with all the leverage. They are the ones with all the power in the situation. They are the ones that are electing to have one night stands and not come back because they've got so many other things on their plate. And in fact, they are the ones that are committing a lot of the immoral things in society, where they just won't come back and they won't even explain to you why, as if you're irrelevant. And so welcome to the reality of the dating market. And if you're aware of that already, it is time to learn some cold approach with myself. Top link in the description, or go to my website, sign up and do some cold approach coaching, and we'll try and get some leads in. And we got to get a lot of leads in until you can find yourself a proper girlfriend, because we need to filter through a lot of bad girls to find the good ones. I'll see you guys in the next video.